they lost their minds. They were just so pumped, and it was like mind-blowing for them.
Welcome to Cloudy with a Chance of Meeples, a channel of conversation and board games.
Hey, my name is Brent here on Cloudy with a Chance of Meeples. Today on the channel, we are going to be checking out a whodunit mystery deduction game aimed towards kids. It plays 2 to 6 people in about 20 minutes. It's Junior Detective. It's a cross between Clue and Guess Who. Let me show you how it plays and then what my final thoughts are in the final forecast. Cue the thunder. So the radar overview for Junior Detective. All ages fun. A whodunit mystery game with 40 cases to solve. And it looks like this. You'll be playing as one of these 6 characters, and you will be trying to figure out the case. There are 40 different ones, as mentioned. They each come in a little envelope like this. It tells you a little bit of story. In this one, the salt shaker caper. Someone someone purposefully changed all the sugar with salt, and no one likes their cocoa. You'd set the board up with these different cards. There are 8 different witnesses, and there are 4 hiding places on the board. Let's just say on your turn, you roll the die. 2. Okay, if you ever roll if you ever roll and you land on a bicycle, you can go to any location on the board. So I could come down to Dottie Drip, I could go over to Ferris the Great, I could come around and go to Mrs. Wise. Okay, if you ever land on a fingerprint, you pick up the top card on the sleuth pile, which will either help you or potentially not help you, or potentially help or kind of hinder others. So in this case, it says move 1 hiding token. Well, out of these 4 hiding tokens, then I can move it. Maybe I want to put it on top of this bicycle so no one can use that bicycle. Or maybe, someone's up there and I want to put it there to make them go all the way around. You can never box someone in fully so that they can't get out of a location, but that's what these sleuth cards do. Some of them, speak out if you visited Mr. Sweeps or Ferris the Great. Tell all the other players what one of the witnesses told you. So then you have to share some information. So that's what the fingerprints do. But let's just say I went to Peppi Roni. At that point, I would flip over. Well, I can't really read that very well. That's where this little spy decoder comes into play. And you read, the culprit did not have freckles. Perfect. Of course, you wouldn't be reading this out loud. You'd be keeping all this information secret and not sharing it with others, unless a sleuth card tells you to. So then I would look at my player board. Everybody gets one of these little, I shouldn't say everybody. There's only 4 of these, but it plays 2 to 6, so that's a little weird. But anyways, everybody would get one of these witness suspect boards, and then Peppi Roni says, the culprit does not have freckles. So then at that point, I look at this. Okay, he's got freckles. Wow, look at that. I just eliminated a whole bunch. So I crossed them all off. And maybe I want to make a little note. Peppi Roni says, no freckles. So you can do that. Or you can wait, because not all the witnesses may be telling the truth. But one person that is always telling the truth is Mrs. Wise. So anytime you go there, you look, and she is always going to tell the truth. This is where the little mirror comes into play. I don't know if the angles are going to work out on this, but it says, I can read it, but I don't know if you can. It says, Mrs. Wise says that all witnesses are telling you the truth. So you put this on the table, you put the card there, and then you would read, and it would tell you that in this case, all of the witnesses are telling the truth. So in fact, the culprit did not have freckles, as Peppi Roni said. So you cross those things off and you keep going. And you can never move through any of these hiding places. So you got to be aware of that. I will say this, you got to figure out who is the culprit, but then where are they hiding? They're hiding in one of these 4 locations: the clown suit, the mascot, the library books, or behind the pizza boxes. The spy will always tell you that. The spy is always telling the truth. And you go to the spy and you look and you say, well, I can't read that very well. Well, this is where the magic of your hands come into play, and you rub the card together really gently, and then you look at it again. They are the clown. So it's got a little bit of a heat activation there, and your kids will go nuts when they see that the first time, let me tell you that. And so that's pretty much it. You got to be the first one to figure out where they are and say, I figured it out, they're in the clown, I go there. If I'm right, I win. If I'm not right, then I'm out of the game. How do you know if you're right? Well, it comes with the solve card. I will show you how to solve one of the mysteries, but I will not tell you what number it is. But you would take this and place it right there. And in this case, this specific one that I'm holding, they are hiding behind the pizza boxes, and it was suspect number 8. So then, of course, if I would have guessed that right, it would have been this person. They would have been the culprit in that case, and that's virtually how you play Junior Detective. So there you have it, the Coles Notes version for Junior Detective. Let's now check out the final forecast. So the final forecast for Junior Detective, a whodunit, ages 8 and up, plays 2 to 6 players, 20-ish minutes. Haven't played it at the higher player count. I played it mostly at the 3-player count. I picked this one up at Target recently. I didn't know anything about it. I was like, whodunit? Kind of like Clue. And I enjoyed Clue back in the day. So my kids, 6 and 9, figured they may like that whole deduction style game. So we tried it out. We opened it up, and I have to say, I love the artwork. Like, I love the artwork. It's just light and fun, and, it's kind of got a cross between, like, Hanna-Barbera old school artwork and that 90s video game series, like the backyard baseball, backyard football games. I don't know. The artwork, really cool. I will have to say, this game has some flaws in it, okay? It's a roll and move game, so take that for what it is. It's a mass market game, but roll and move, you're rolling 6s, you're going to win. You're rolling 1s and 2s, you're most likely going to lose. That's just the bottom line. I'll say also those sleuth cards, they can be devastating depending on what the card is. If you're, almost at Mrs. Wise, you really need to go there, and you get sucked across the board to the spine, you've already been there, man, you could lose some serious ground, and that could be detrimental. There's also cards in the sleuth cards that let you, move a couple of those hiding tokens. My kids, they love that because they put them right in front of me and box me in on 2 sides, so I have to make the long way around. My kids think that's funny, and they enjoyed that. Okay, those are a couple things. I will say also case number 2, there's a mistake. You need to use Peppi Roni card number 93 instead of 78. And for the second case that there's a problem, that's kind of a pretty big oversight, but I'll put that information in the link of the description of this video so you can check that out. So if you check this game out, don't stop at case number 2 because the rest get better. I will say this, we've done about 15 of these, and my kids, they enjoy the stories, and they enjoy reading that little description and kind of getting into the whole thing. They love the whole red reader or red decoder glasses and the mirror. And my 6-year-old, man, she loves just taking her pen and paper or pencil and paper and writing notes down and practicing her writing and then crossing things off. And then I think as a dad, this is fantastic. I love it that my kids are practicing reading, practicing writing, and having a fun time doing it. So this review is kind of like two-sided from a standpoint of game mechanics and how the game plays. There are definitely some flaws, but then I see my kids having a ton of fun and, rubbing that spy card between their hands and then looking at it and, that's cool. The first time you do that, my kids, they lost their minds. They were just so pumped, and it was mind-blowing for them. But for as a dad, I got to throw this game sometime because my deduction skills are that much quicker. And so I realized, the crime is a loose term, but the crime happened at the pet store. That person, Jackie Russell, she's not going to know anything about the crime because it doesn't make sense that she would. It happened at the pizza place. He's obviously not going to know anything about the crime. So you don't have to go there. So for me, I figured it out. If it's at a certain location, you don't have to go to that location because you're just wasting your time. My kids, they haven't figured that out yet, and I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing, but I've had to throw the game as a result because of it a few times. But overall, I think this is a fun game. For $20, I've gotten a lot of legs, and we still have over 20 cases left in this one. And my kids have enjoyed it, and they've practiced their deduction skills and their just logic and everything. So overall, I think it's a solid game. It's not great, but I think it's a pretty good game. So I'm going to give it a 70% chance of meeples for Junior Detective. My kids have enjoyed it, and I've enjoyed spending time playing this game with my kids and creating those memories. So 70% chance of meeples for Junior Detective. My name is Brent. Check us out on Facebook, Cloudy with a Chance of Meeples. Remember, grab your umbrella. The forecast is cloudy with a chance of meeples.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and remember to grab your umbrella because the forecast is cloudy with a chance of meeples.